welcome back to Block TV, where it is this time of the week. Yes, indeed, time for Blockchain and Booze, where we gather the wheelers and dealers of the sphere, have them answer questions as they try to stay sober and ponder whatever is happening. Today, victims in studio from left to right. There we go. Gil Solomon, founder of Gil Solomon and Company. Hello.
Hello.
Salut. Yes, I love that you're double tagging the margarita.
I love the company.
Phenomenal. Yes. Avia Arika, thank God for another female. Chief of Blockchain at Avia. Wonderful to have you. Salut.
Thank you so much.
I can't do this without Matti Greenspan, the man, the legend, the bow tie. eToro's senior analyst.
Cheers.
And such a pleasure, Luke Kerner, who we always see on this big screen behind you, to have you with us, partner at Crypto Oracle. Thank you for being with us.
Right,
now,
great to be here.
Wonderful to have you with us. Also, to all of you viewing at home, this show is also being filmed in VR 360, available on Live Planet VR. Do check it out. You get to see us from crazy angles. Okay. Okay, folks, let's get straight to, because it has been an exciting 24 hours for old markets. The Fed cuts rates again. Bitcoin price down slightly, or in other words, what the hell's going on? The U.S. Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell took to the stage on Wednesday this week and announced that he would cut interest rates by 1/4 percentage point for the second time since July, as concerns grow about a potential global slowdown. This is what the man had to say. Let's listen.
My colleagues at the Federal Reserve and I are dedicated to serving the American people. We do this by steadfastly pursuing the goals Congress has given us: maximum employment and stable prices. We are committed to making the best decisions we can based on facts and objective analysis. Today, we decided to lower interest rates. As I will explain shortly, we took this step to help keep the U.S. economy strong in the face of some notable developments and to provide insurance against ongoing risks. The U.S. economy has continued to perform well. We are into the 11th year of this economic expansion, and the baseline outlook remains favorable. The economy grew at a 2.5% pace in the first half of the year. Household spending, supported by a strong job market, rising incomes, and solid consumer confidence, has been the key driver of growth. In contrast, business investment and exports have weakened amid falling manufacturing output. The main reasons appear to be slower growth abroad and trade policy developments, two sources of uncertainty that we've been monitoring all year. Since the middle of last year, the global growth outlook has weakened, notably in Europe and China. Additionally, a number of geopolitical risks, including Brexit, remain unresolved. Trade policy tensions have waxed and waned, and elevated uncertainty is weighing on U.S. investment and exports. Our business contacts around the country have been telling us that uncertainty about trade policy has discouraged them from investing in their businesses. Business fixed investment posted a modest decline in the second quarter, and recent indicators point to continued softness. Even so, with household spending remaining on a solid footing and with supportive financial conditions, we expect the economy to continue to expand at a moderate rate.
Okay, this was a move that was not expected. This is the second time within a few months. Many people are already touting it's 2008 all over again. I don't know if that is the case. Let's start with Bitcoin, first of all. The pump. Anthony Pompliano was ecstatic, tweeted, "Rocket fuel for Bitcoin." Guess what? At the time of taping, doesn't really seem to be like rocket fuel for Bitcoin. Hasn't really done that effect. What do we think of this when it comes to Bitcoin, and why is this happening now? What can it do for us people in this sphere?
Well, this is another case of Bitcoin proving that it's an uncorrelated asset. I'm sorry. During the last Fed meeting, I thought that there might possibly be some sort of a reaction in Bitcoin. It didn't happen. The reason that I thought that is because it's a change in policy. The Fed has been tightening over the last 2 years or a year or so, and all of a sudden they start loosening up the belt a little bit. That type of thing, on a macro perspective, it means more money, more liquidity in the market, which overall is good for all investments. A rising tide lifts all boat, and Bitcoin is indeed a boat on this giant ocean that we call Earth. So in that sense, that I think that the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates is good for Bitcoin down the line, but Bitcoin traders are not watching the Fed.
And also,
Look, I think.
Please, yes.
I also think Bitcoin is not currently viewed as an alternative payment system, because I think that crypto payments world does not have the infrastructure of the traditional payments world. And as long as that doesn't happen, I don't see the crypto payments ecosystem taking the place of the traditional payments ecosystem. But I do think that, you know, as Mati said, Bitcoin is viewed as an investment, as an asset that is traded and they can make money on. And that, I don't see that, the connection of that, besides spending growing, I don't see the connection of that to cutting interest rates. So.
No, and I'm asking you, Luke, because the pump was actually tweeting that quite a lot from the moment the Fed took to the stage again. Needless to say, Donald Trump also tweeted saying that if the brain, the voice in my ear can help me out, that's what Donald Trump. There we go, lovely. Exactly, I love the end of it. And a terrible
Power
communicator.
and the Federal Reserve fail again.
Exactly, but look at the end. I mean, my God, because you yourself are doing such a great job.
Wait, can you read the whole tweet like that, please?
Oh my God, can you do that?
Please,
Let's do the
put it back,
again
put it back.
and then get us- Okay,
Let me do
this is a via.
There we go,
During
okay,
Trump, go.
Powell and the Federal Reserve fail again. No guts, no sense, no vision. A terrible communicator.
Multi-talent.
Bravo, multi-talento. Lou, I'm asking you, why would Anthony Pompliano pump
Well, I'm pretty
this
sure.
connection and give this hope? Because, I mean, I saw his Twitter go afire with the Fed's,
Yeah, look,
announcement.
I'm a fan of pumps, but I
Of
think
course.
almost every tweet has a rocket on it. So, you know, it's going to the moon, you know, according to Anthony, and I agree with him. I think the reason why he would be excited about this is because this is just, you know, why did Powell do this? Was there any new information over the last couple of weeks? I don't think so. I think this was largely, him just waffling to Trump. Trump has been on him and pounding him and pounding him and pounding him. So he said, fine, here's another 1/4 percentage point.
Is it
And
maybe
this
because
is
of all
on-
these
as well have
tariffs?
been demanding it, yeah.
but this is, you know, so we're on our way. Are we on our way to negative interest rates in the United States, which is just a bastardization of the entire financial ecosystem? So if you believe that, which I strongly believe, then this is just another indicator that you want to be in Bitcoin. While it is uncorrelated, it is in, you know, for me, I see it as a store of value, as a safe haven. And if everything else in the world is going to hell, which it looks like it is, and you want to be in Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're sitting in the Middle East. It does feel like that. But
Generally, it's still a global. I don't think it's a global commodity. I mean, it's not one economic area that influences the price of Bitcoin. I mean, if any economical area can influence the price of Bitcoin, it would be the States, but
it's
not solely.
not solely not the only one, but it's still the one leading in that. I think we're all looking to the States because at the end of the day, it is still the leader of the free world.
Yeah, obviously.
Still.
No, the more than that, the United States dollar is the
Is
global,
the global
reserve
currency.
Yeah,
yes.
obviously,
Yeah.
but still.
Right, but the
I think
crazy...
it's that one currency or one reserve or one nation, for that matter, won't be that influential on the price of Bitcoin in the long term.
Right, but if
I
you
would
think
hope so.
today...
In my
We
humble
can
opinion.
hope so.
Today, the dollar does have the position that it has. And what's crazy about it is the crazier that Trump gets, right? The worse that it gets in the United States.
The better the dollar
The
does.
better the dollar. No, seriously, because everybody needs a safe haven. It's so weird. And we,
It's
the
true,
dollar
but you just
is the
explained
safe
also
haven.
why he's going to get a second term. For
I'm
those of us who
gonna
believe that.
start charging clients in dollar again and not euros, because the euro has been weakening also. So we're gonna
Mati's
Watch
about
out
to
for
die.
that because
think-
they're antsy to start printing again. And you know, the interest rate cut is only a very small part of the story. And I think that a lot of headlines and even financial analysts are missing is that there's been a lot of action lately in the repo markets. And the repo markets is basically the market that the Fed is trying to target. And they're targeting 1.75% right now, and the repo markets on Monday spiked up to 6%, which is, nobody really understood why, and everybody's like, yeah, it's probably okay, and the Fed had to inject money. They put about $128 billion into the system. They're not calling it quantitative easing, but that's another cash injection.
And they're about to do it again also.
They'll have to do it tonight.
They're doing it tonight, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're doing it tonight again. That doesn't scare us. I'm sorry for veering a bit away from, I know Bitcoin's going to save us all, but that feels eerily the fact that they have to overnight.
They hadn't done this since 2008.
2008.
This is
Thank you.
2008 all
Okay.
over again.
It
It's the
reminds me
beginning.
of-
The
of-
inverted
of,
bond curve, where
I wonder
there are
what-
plenty
what-
of warning signs in the economy.
I wonder what Ray Dalio was saying about that right now. Because
He said buy gold.
yeah,
He'd say buy gold?
He said buy
Okay,
gold.
then there you go.
And I'm
No,
wondering
and
if it's
Bitcoin
really.
is not going to save us all. It's not going to save anyone because if we're heading towards a recession, then Bitcoin is not going to help anyone.
Yeah.
Because again, we do not have an alternative payment system yet, and we're maybe 10 years away from that. Because as long as we don't have the means to identify senders of money like SWIFT automatically hand in hand with the transfer, we're not going to ease the AML and CTF concerns. And as long as that doesn't happen, I don't think that we can view Bitcoin or crypto as an alternative payment
No,
system.
and I mean, let's say a recession hits in the next 6 months.
But why does it have to be I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
No,
please.
But why does it? It doesn't have to be an alternative payment system. It can be
No,
a
I'm
store
just
of
saying,
value.
I agree, but even
for
a
it-
store of
for it to
value.
save us all, it needs to be an
what people
alternative.
tend to forget is that gold fell in the 2008 financial crisis. It did not go up. All in a financial crisis, there's a recession. People start scrambling. They go, where can I get some extra cash? They look under their mattresses, they look under their pillows, and they start selling off financial assets
Yep.
across the board. And that, unfortunately, that will probably include Bitcoin if something like that
Yeah.
happens.
Okay,
But didn't gold significantly outperform equities?
It did.
Yes.
Yes, but the value comes
But
down. It doesn't go
recession-
up.
Yeah, recession means you're going down the Maslow sort of pyramid, so you can't be an investor anymore. You need to
So
sell
will it
off.
help you that a Bitcoin is worth $1 million if $1 million
which is
is
not
worth
something
a
that you can-
toothbrush?
Yes.
It will not help you.
just ask the people of Venezuela.
Seriously.
My
Okay, on that happy note, who wants another drink? Anyway, that's gonna
Yes,
be going
please.
down. Yeah, that's gonna be going down the. We're gonna move that to my assistant.
Just
I'll take
another
another-
recession,
I'll
just
take
another
another Beck's.
excuse
Just
to
another
drink.
margarita. But moving
Another
on.
Beck's?
Cheers to the world ending.
Let's
Financial
talk
and global
Bitcoin
economic
ETF,
boom.
guys. So, Bitcoin ETF returned to the back burner after VanEck Solidex
you.
withdrew the proposal. Needless to say, that was the big news this week in the sphere. Staying with U.S. regulators, the race for a Bitcoin ETF lost a front runner, although most of us saw them pulling it again. This is the second time that VanEck is pulling their ETF. Just a month before the SEC was supposed to issue a final ruling on their case. Wondering with all you guys, first of all, as regulators continue to drag their feet expressing concerns over market manipulation, custody issues, as you mentioned, Avia, the payment system's still not set up for, Bitcoin or whatnot. How important is an ETF at this point? And this has been dragging on for 2 years. How long do we see this dragging on? Is knowing the, federal agencies in the United States, I can give this another 15.
You know what I think is important? Services and products that are available for retail customers. Not another product that is only available for institutional clients. No, that will not create a momentum in the market. That will
Talking
not
about Bakkt,
develop
by
the
way.
market.
Yeah. You're talking about
You're talking about
Bakkt,
Bakkt?
yes?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
But
20 September
Bakkt is
23rd.
also
That's
Bakkt, but
certainly
Bakkt-
more important
well,
than an ETF.
only institutional.
Huh?
Only institutional. Again.
Aren't they coming out with like a credit
No.
card that you can
But-
spend?
well,
and all
not,
that?
but not for the futures. Futures can only be traded by institutional investors. And again, I mean, I think that's where we're failing. And same goes with the two new crypto banks in Switzerland, Signum and Seba. Amazing, but only for institutional and professional clients. So as long as we're not managing to get out of the loop of the institutional, which can resolve
Retail already has a way to buy Bitcoin if they want to.
Bitcoin, yes, but not to participate as a user of a crypto bank and not to trade those futures or all the interesting stuff that beyond buying the actual Bitcoin.
Okay.
So I think that's a big detriment to the market of this
In
whole
that respect.
Bitcoin derivatives or
How
services.
crucial is an ETF for this market to move ahead?
I think-
Sorry.
Yeah.
We've been
start from
talking.
we'll
Yeah,
say.
I think we've been talking about ETFs for a long time. We're talking about a lot of other things. That when this happens, then Bitcoin's going to take off again, and it's rarely the thing you're
You believe
talking
that?
about. It's rarely the thing that people are talking about that makes it happen. I could personally care less about ETFs. I could personally care less what regulators do. This is happening, whether the regulators like it or not. The regulators have two choices, right? They can either roll out the red tape, or they can roll out the red carpet. And most of them, in the United States, obviously they're rolling out the red tape, and so people are leaving the United States every single day and moving to Asia and moving to countries that are more regulatory friendly.
They're more concerned, but not all of them.
And vice versa.
Population exchange.
Yeah,
Right?
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
And
for
vice
other reasons.
versa,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes. There are a lot of reasons why you don't want to be in Asia, but if this is where if you believe, like I believe, you want to be in Asia today. Asia is where it's happening in large part because it's so accommodating from a regulatory standpoint. The fact that they like to gamble doesn't hurt.
But what if you're Joe Smith and you're living in Iowa and you can't afford to move to Asia? And Monty's like,
Well,
And
if
an
you're
ETF
living
is
in
gonna help you
Iowa,
how?
you got bigger concerns. You got greater concerns
Yeah,
than buying
seriously.
Bitcoin if you live in Iowa.
Got your cousin's
In
wedding
Iowa.
coming up, and it just happens to be your own. No,
I mean,
sorry.
I see an
awful, but go
advantage.
ahead, Gil, yes.
Well, anybody can buy GBTC, which is a fund that all it owns. It's a traded fund on the OTC, and anybody can buy it.
Yeah.
And and all it does is hold Bitcoin. And by the way, if you've owned it, you have outperformed Bitcoin because it trades at a premium. And the premium continues to grow. So it's actually a fabulous way to own Bitcoin, other than the fact they charge a 2% fee. That's what's exciting about
get a premium
ETF
on it, yeah.
is that fee. For VanEck, it's
For
probably
VanEck
charging
or-
a point, 0.2, probably closer to that than 2.
So ETF is, as the way I see it, is a large bridge or a major highway. The
Don't we
building
need
of
that
the
bridge,
highway
though?
will not necessarily increase the traffic.
Right.
But
They will
once
give-
the traffic is ready, then it can obviously increase the flow and increase the liquidity in the market and everything like that. But I'd like to answer your second question, and to say how long is this going to play out? And I think that actually they're coming very close. And according to Jay Clayton, he mentioned 2 concerns to CNBC. I think it was last week in an interview.
It was.
And he said, first of all, is the custody issue. How do we know that we can actually custody those assets? Now, hello, Bitcoin custody. This should not be rocket scientists, okay? We get some really smart people who know a little bit about multi-sig wallets,
Yeah.
and they can pop something together in a
just
week
have
if
to
they
get
want
the
to.
New York
Okay?
Trust license.
Manipulation.
It's only a matter of educating the
Okay.
SEC about that.
But the
okay?
second issue more important.
The second issue is market
Manipulation.
manipulation. Now, and the one ETF that's still on the table, which is going to be final decision on October 13th, which is Bitwise, I believe that they attacked that question very well, right?
What,
They
the
said that this is
dissertation of why
a
this-
decentralized market. You have 10 people with significant volumes who are not playing around with the volumes, who are reporting truly, and they are all together deciding on the price, as price discoverability is very clear and very congruent, and you don't get any disparities between the markets. You don't have, like in 2017, there was an issue, right, where the price of Bitcoin can be $3,000 different than it is on a different broker.
Exactly.
These days, it's not so much. The arbitrage traders have weeded that out, and we can see that the price is very fluent. That is much stronger than a centralized market. Okay, then you have on the NASDAQ, for example, all the orders go through the NASDAQ. It's much more susceptible to manipulation. Even though the NASDAQ has obviously more oversight, if we start to oversee the Bitcoin market in that way as well, you'll have a much stronger foundation for a market that is non-manipulatable.
Do we really think Bitwise is that close?
No, I don't think that they're
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
approve it on October 13th.
Yeah, exactly.
But what
But
I'm
what
saying
they
is
submitted-
that
no,
according to
good point.
Jay Clayton's comments, it seems like the 2 main issues that he has are not insurmountable. They're just an issue of knowledge and understanding.
But do you think those are the only issues he's going to have? Do you not think that when these issues are solved,
I don't
he's
know
going to have
what
other
kind of
issues?
issues Jay
But then
Clayton
again,
has
there's
on the back
actually-
end.
No,
Quite
but-
honestly.
No, give
What
me,
is
guys.
it?
What is it? Do you know what they're solving for? Do you know what the SEC is solving for?
What do you mean what they're solving?
What do you mean?
What is it that they're solving for? What is he trying to accomplish? What is Jay
That's a very
Clayton's
good
job?
question. What is it?
Right? What
Protect
is he
the
trying to
consumer.
accomplish?
Protecting U.S. investors.
And do you think he does that by having everybody own a Bitcoin? Do you think Jay Clayton thinks that people owning Bitcoin is good for the United States, good for the dollar, good for the
I
economy?
don't think it's his
Probably
job
not.
to strengthen the U.S. economy. It's his job to protect the consumer.
Okay.
And is owning Bitcoin a necessarily dangerous thing?
But he's protecting the consumer.
mean-
He's protecting the consumer is just one little element of a much bigger thing I believe that he's trying to accomplish, that the federal government is trying to accomplish.
I
right?
believe it's general
Yeah, I
lack
mean-
of knowledge. I mean, the federal government has a lack of knowledge, and you see it in all of the
Hearings.
regulator hearings and congressional hearings and Senate hearings. You see the difference between the knowledge in the market and knowledge of the regulators and decision makers.
And truth of
Yeah,
the matter is,
Congress,
it was
for
quite
sure.
frightening through those Lieber hearings.
No,
to hear,
but-
except for some of them.
Well,
To
but I
see
think
the
that
level,
some
yeah.
credit where credit is due. They did a lot better than they did
Some
during
of
the
them, I know,
Zuckerberg
that's
hearings.
true.
Oh, yeah,
where they were just
No.
asking questions
But I-
like, what is a browser?
I
Like,
think
come
Senate,
on, guys.
The
Yeah.
Senate is much less educated than CFTC and SEC.
Yep.
Especially, I don't think that Clayton is an example for this lack of education. I do think that regulators will always have a hard time following the steps of reality. But yeah, there is the naive view of what his job is, and there is the realistic view of, well, his job,
his job is maybe to
ABC,
protect the
but
consumer.
we're
At the end of
talking
the
about
day,
the
he's part of
US,
the
which is
American,
like the
yeah,
biggest
federal
legit
government.
corruption system in the world. So, let's be realistic.
Thing is, if I may, one small
Yeah,
comment about
please.
ETFs. Generally, an ETF is supposed to track a set of commodities or a currency, a set of currencies or a set of stocks. Now, generally, these ETFs, if I remember correctly, Bitwise also mixes U.S. Treasury bonds, and it concentrates only on Bitcoin. Now, if it would track like 5 big coins, like Ripple and Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., then we'd be another whole different ballgame. But this one, I don't know, it's too risky. I mean, Bitcoin falls, everything falls.
There was that
The
one
market
ETF
behavior
that
is
tried
it's
to
such.
push-
Sorry.
There was one company, asset manager, that tried to push through a Bitcoin ETF that Bitcoin was only a small percentage
Fraction
of the
of it.
exposure. I remember that. That was brilliant. And then, I don't know, the SEC squashed that behind the scenes, like,
Let me just-
guys,
There's a
it would have gone through, and if they wouldn't have pulled it, the SEC would have had to approve it. But, you don't want to mess with
But
that.
as the SEC, yeah, go ahead.
There's a good advantage in this kind of product. As an investment product, it actually makes the crypto market accessible both to institutionals, which are not that high on the market yet, but also if it's traded on a public market, to the usual guys, to the usual
Retail,
to the public.
No, to the
and
public, that's
right
the
now-
idea behind it. That said, there are some people who are not waiting
But it's
for...
not going to be available for retail again. I mean,
Yeah, in retail, you need
I'll
to
bet
be
my house on it,
technologically
you know?
savvy.
It's not going to be available for retail like
Somebody's
everything
coming
else.
in for the rescue in a certain way.
And
look.
you know what? Even the most recent retail relevant use cases, which are the Reg A Plus approvals, props, and BlockStack. Okay, these are not classical securities. These are not shares in a company or dividends. They are reward tokens. In other countries which are more sane, it would not even be considered a security. Okay? So this is nice. But saying something, being super strict about something and then allowing it after a regulatory process of 1 year is not, I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed.
I am with you. We're moving along
For your
now.
own reputation's sake, do not approve this right now. Thank you.
Guys, hold on. Binance launches the U.S. exchange with 7 trading pairs, including
Excellent
BNB.
segue.
Yes. Apropos, crypto empire Binance launched its colony in the U.S. this week, starting trading with 7 pairs of top coins, including its native BNB. It seems like there is not a week, folks, that we don't have an announcement or 3, shall I say, of some sort from this unstoppable company. To begin with, how do you think Binance's move will fare in the U.S.? How do you think that's going to go?
Did they get a money service business license? I'm not sure. What did they do to launch in the U.S.? In terms of regulation, did they get I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they got
They
some.
did?
Yeah? Did they have?
They have a
Pretty regulated.
BAM
They're not-
company.
That was the whole point of
13
this
states.
move was
Yeah.
we want to open some sort of regulatory
Okay.
thing. I don't remember what the specific
Good for
license
them.
they have is, but they came to an agreement.
Thing
But the
is-
surprise here is that is the BNB itself, because from everything that we're hearing from the SEC, this
that's-
is a security token.
Thank
Security
you.
token, yeah.
How is that happening?
I have no idea. We're going to see how this plays out, and if they're able to get it through, that's
Well,
a
I mean-
huge win for security tokens.
No, but the strongest claim they can have here is for a payment token. Giving, you know what, if props and BlockStack are considered securities, then yes, I think BNB will be considered a security as well. But it's interesting to see.
But generally, BNB, if you look at it from a legal standpoint, it passes the Howey test perfectly. I mean, it's a security by definition, if you consider it through the Howey
which
test.
makes it, I mean, to the
Sorry?
house, you're fine, but that makes it a security.
Sorry?
Yes.
And that makes it a security.
Yeah. And this is one. I think Binance is actually playing chicken with the SEC right now, because because right now
It's a dangerous
Binance, and Binance is still burning BNB tokens, right? Half of
Yeah,
token
exactly.
supply will be burned.
Yeah.
So there is an upside to holding BNB token.
Yep.
And it passes the Howey test perfectly. Howey test is the one that.
The 1940s, it's 1946, Lou, right?
1964
Sorry,
maybe.
no, 46,
30
guys.
something.
46. It's even
46?
back, yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Something
Well,
old.
yeah,
Something
yeah.
old.
You invest money in a common enterprise and you
No,
get
no,
profit from the
thing that's been
efforts of
holding
a
back.
third party.
Yeah, okay.
So it all passes, like with flying cars.
But
so
the interesting thing is that in the EU, for example, you will be excluded from the definition of a financial instrument if you are a means of payment. And for example, in the EU, if I were Binance lawyer, I think I could, make pretty good claims as to why Binance is a payment token. The fact that they use mechanisms such as burning for the appreciation of value, that's, that could be fixed, and that's beside the point. But basically, it was born as a payment token, and it still is. The fact that it gives benefits and discounts in the Binance platform is, in the US, that's considered a
Right.
security characteristic. In the EU, it wouldn't in most places. So, again, US, but I think their next step would be getting the New York trust license, just like Coinbase custody and
I was about to ask also, real quickly, let's go into, what do you think that entrance is going to do to Coinbase?
What?
What do you think that Binance's entrance, once again, is going to do to Coinbase?
Well, it's good for Coinbase. If you-
Market? Expands the market?
Yeah, it expands
Okay.
the market. If you've
Shows you that
got
there
if you
is
got
a
a pizza
market.
shop, right? It's
Yeah,
better
no,
that
I'm asking.
another pizza shop opens
Yeah.
up. Then you
They're big enough,
both
anyway.
both do better.
Both the better. Okay. Let's talk, though. Let's move along to the thing that we're all going to talk about and have been talking about and will be talking about for the next goddamn, half a decade. So is Libra.
Just liberate us from
Damn
Yes,
Libra.
that's Zuckerberg. Libra facing regulatory backlash, to say the least. This is my headline. Vitalik Buterin helps put things in perspective. We're going to do a little bit of self-promotion, but before I do that, Facebook's Libra continues to produce headlines, mostly negative ones. First, we had the French say no. And now we have the Germans.
Nine.
Yeah, natürlich. Nine. I can do that with the accent. Whose cabinet passed a strategy that would embrace blockchain very clearly, but keeps an arm's length distance from challenging to its financial sovereignty. Clearly talking about Libra. We must protect consumers, I'm quoting the Germans, and state sovereignty. A core element of state sovereignty is the issuing of a currency. We will not leave this task to private companies.
That's so pathetic.
Let alone Facebook.
Let alone Facebook. That's from
pathetic.
Olaf Scholz. He's the finance minister. Needless to say, Libra is a major discussion point in crypto circles. It's getting even a lot more traction. We cornered, as Mati was there, literally with our bodies, we at BLOCKTV, cornered Vitalik Buterin
Yeah, that
into
was
a
fun.
corner and asked
We all
him
ganged up on him.
entirely, and asked him what he feels about Libra at this point in time and where it stands with regulators. This is what he had to say.
Now, I definitely don't think that there's anything like a kind of death match between Libra and existing crypto systems, as like some people like to say, because like Libra has something that existing blockchains don't, which is existing access to 2.5 billion users, and existing crypto systems have something that Libra doesn't, which is a kind of credible claim to commercial and political neutrality.
Neutrality.
First of all, ka-ching!
Yeah. Oh, like slap.
Does Vitalik actually believe neutrality exists in this world? How old is he? 10? It does
Honey,
not
I'm with you
exist.
on
Nah,
that.
nah, nah, nah,
Look,
nah,
and that's actually an interesting question before we move on to the actual
No, but there's
question.
no such thing as political neutrality. I'm sorry, but even NGOs or multinational corporations,
Everybody has
it
an
doesn't
agenda,
exist.
folks. Everybody has an
Well,
agenda.
especially not among NGOs and political organizations. No, it doesn't. But
No, not
political
necessarily
neutrality
political.
certainly exists in the world.
But you
in
think
various
Facebook has
places.
political neutrality?
Bitcoin.
No, that's what he's saying, that they don't.
He's saying
He's
not only
saying
does it
Oh,
not,
okay.
he's saying they
Then
don't have
I
political
misunderstood
neutrality.
him.
I don't know,
Yeah.
no political neutrality.
Okay,
no,
sorry.
But
My
I
He's
love
saying
how
they
he
don't
slapped
have
him.
a credible
What does he
claim
say?
to political and corporate neutrality,
Okay.
which is what other cryptocurrencies have over them.
I know, but Libra came out of the Ethereum Summit, or that is what came out also as one headline over the course of Tel Aviv Blockchain Week, announcing the new launch date now, which is Q2 of 2020.
Not gonna
Who
happen.
sees that happening?
No way.
Who sees that happening?
way.
Who sees that happening?
I think Switzerland is going to chicken out on their.
Ooh.
I really think so because I think FINMA didn't calculate what is going to
backlash?
happen, and the same as they chickened out on bank secrecy because of U.S. pressure. I think the same is going to happen now.
Well, they're
That's an
gonna
interesting
have
theory.
to.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to
Yeah.
because this is coming anyways. It's coming whether you like it or not. Corporate currencies are happening. I saw the Honey Nut Cheerios has a buzz coin. Frito-Lay's has their own freaking coin. These corporate coins are coming with a
but those
vast
This is not
amount
just
of
a
power
corporate
right now.
Those are
coin.
completely different
And those who
things.
They're
stand
different things. Lou's
Yeah.
right.
Those have
Those-
absolutely nothing to do
These
with
are
Libra.
innocent corporate
They've
coins.
got nothing. They've-
Right.
Those are innocent corporate coins, sure.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah,
nothing
but,
compared
okay,
to.
so Zuck has the bucks, okay, and he has enough power and money to see this go through. It depends how far he's willing to push it.
Yeah,
Does he?
I
Come
think-
on, Lou. I'm wondering.
I think,
with
look, Libra is DOA. At the end of the day, you're not going to get, I don't think, any great innovation in this industry or almost any other industry if you have to ask permission, right? If Uber had asked permission, the answer would have been no, and there would be no Uber. So if Libra's asking permission and every major
I don't
government
think
in
they're
the
they're
not
United
going to
asking
allow
States,
permission.
itself
They're
not
not.
to ask for permission.
They didn't ask
Well-
for permission. They said we're doing this, and,
And we'd
we
like
hope
to be
that you guys.
compliant.
We hope that you guys
they're
are on
not doing this.
board.
They cannot do it. They have a $500 billion business the U.S. government will take away from them if they do it. The
Yeah,
U.S.
too
government
much.
is a bully. If you don't think they will shut
It's
Facebook
only
down
a matter
the
of
day that they
bribing
do
enough
it, you have
congressmen
no.
to get in line with
Well,
the
that you can
vision
do. Look,
that
yeah.
we
The
don't
US
want to
government-
stifle innovation.
by the time-
and this don't want to
by the
stifle
time it
innovation
happens-
is a good enough vision that any congressman with several $100,000 in contribution money can get behind.
And let me give you a different theory, even, Lou. I'm wondering with you. Let's say the Chinese, two different things entirely, but we all agreed that people on Capitol Hill don't necessarily understand the technology and the mechanism behind this. But the Chinese coming out with a digital coin at the end of October, approximately, freaks the U.S. out. They speed up.
That's it.
They speed
That's
up
it.
regulation. even though
Libra
it's two different things.
Is
But they
the
look at that
answer
as
to
the answer to
China's
that.
central bank digital
No,
currency.
no. The reason that they're scared of China is the reason that they should be scared of Libra as well.
But they don't get it.
What?
But this is Trump you're talking about, and Trump
if they're
only
gonna
cares
pay
about China, China, China. Okay, and if
In this voice.
He's
really,
back.
He cares about
It's-
all
it's
he cares
pronounced
about is China. He
China.
doesn't
China.
care about China.
China.
He does not care about China. He could care less about China. All he cares about is his bank account. And what is going to optimize his bank account is a strong dollar. If it goes to Libra, if the dollar gets decimated, his assets
but
get
he still
decimated.
prefers something that hurts the dollar.
He doesn't
and is
care
within
about
his
China in
control.
the same way he
No,
doesn't care about
but
Israel.
Libra
He's
is
only
more
here
within-
because he's going to be good for his bank
But
account.
Libra-
He's an anti-Semite,
But
and
Libra-
the country doesn't even know this.
But Libra is more
You guys
within.
welcome him. Hey, anti-Semite, come to the Western
But
Wall.
Libra is more within his control than China
It is absolutely none of his control. Look,
It's
he
more-
doesn't even.
He can. Sorry, but he can impose federal act sanctions upon Facebook because Facebook is an American company.
That's right. He can take $500 billion of Facebook value and put it in his pocket.
Yes.
That's true.
That's what he will do. He will
Doesn't
take
matter,
it away.
but he
will
can
take
hurt-
it away from
he
the
can
shareholders.
control
He will
Libra
take it
more
away
than
from
he
Zuck
can.
if he's king, and he'll put it in his pocket. But he's not going to allow it. He's not going to do anything that I believe that is going to make the dollar lose value. Libra will make the dollar lose value by definition. That's its purpose.
No, it won't. No, it won't. Because Libra is holding dollars.
Yeah.
Today, it's only partial, so instead of the dollar being 100% of the financial system, now it's 50%.
It don't matter. Well, you
and then
put
the next day it's 40%,
What if
the next day it's 30%.
what if they apply the Bank Secrecy Act on crypto transfers?
If they apply
Then-
the Bank Secrecy Act on crypto.
Yes, which they
Wait,
were.
what's the Bank Secrecy Act?
It's a federal act governing the transfer of money between banks in a
Yes, please, I know. I just want to state that this one.
Govern
Last
the
one,
way-
because we're running out of time. What
The
about all the
BSA,
members? First of all,
okay?
I'm interested in your theory. What about the other members of that association? The Libra Association, what I like to
I'm
call
good.
the Benetton.
Every
of-
single one of them is backpedaling. Every single one of them.
Every single one is backpedaling? I'm really- I haven't even checked
I
this
haven't heard
morning.
anyone saying, "Hey, we like it more today than yesterday." Has anybody said that? Has anybody said, "Wow, this is great"?
That's true.
No,
The
well,
only
during-
thing you've heard is backpedaling.
During the hearing, there were plenty of people who were coming out with the narrative that we don't want to stifle innovation and we want to learn more about this. And I think that once that kind of becomes the dominant narrative, then they'll flag it right through.
Actually, before we conclude this, I'm going to wage you guys a bet. I actually, really, I don't disagree with you, Lou. I just think that when it comes to American psyche, I do think that at the end of October, when we'll see China make headlines with the digital coin, they'll be so spooked. And even though those are two unrelated things
But the
in
dollar,
a way.
why not? Isn't the dollar coin
They're quite
the
related.
digital
One
dollar?
is, but one is the
never
communist
related.
version and one is the
digital
capitalist
dollar.
version.
Isn't the
They're
digital
the same
dollar the
thing.
answer to the digital renminbi?
Yeah.
That's not Libra. The digital dollar. We're going to have a digital dollar. That's going to have way before we're going to have
They're not
Libra.
even looking that direction.
Why is that? Yeah,
I'm
exactly. No,
sorry,
that's
they're
actually
not
a
even
fascinating
looking
thing.
at
Why
it.
How
is
do
that?
you know what they're doing? How do you
Well,
have no
because the
idea
whole
what they're
thing about
doing?
a central bank digital currency is a farce to begin with. That's
course
why.
it is.
Why China doesn't need. They
course
want
it
to
is.
have control over their currency. They're not trying to open up the financial markets. They want to crack down on it.
Final.
They want
no, no, no,
traceability
no, no. And I
here.
think- I
They
think
want
this one's
oversight.
fair.
That's what they're doing.
They also want to hurt the dollar. They also want to bring they want the dollar no longer to be the currency of the world.
And
And-
having a digital currency will help them somehow.
We don't know.
Maybe they
Governed
think
by
it
the People's Bank of
before we
China?
conclude,
I don't
before we
think so.
conclude,
It's true.
folks, because we're running out of time, and as the Chinese said, may we all live in interesting times. It's damn interesting. I just want a quick question to survey this. An NBA player is self-tokenizing his contract. Okay, have you heard about this,
Yes.
guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Does everything really need to be tokenized, folks?
Hey, the tokenized prayers.
Yes. All financial assets can and will be tokenized.
This
Doesn't
is not
this lead
even
to- what
this
about
is not
people
even a
tokenizing
financial
themselves?
asset. This
I'm
is
hor-
a right. This is a future financial right, and it is called securitization in traditional legal terminology. And this is just a modernization of securitization, where you take an existing future right and you monetize it in the present, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
The
but
fact that he's
yeah.
doing it through tokens doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, if we didn't use the word token and we used
Yeah.
the word digitized, which is
That
actually
would sound
what we're
much
doing,
better, and actually I would
then
say
the answer everybody would say yes.
And if I may, one point about it, we have a security here, and it's insured because all of the players in NBA have insurance on them. All of the contracts are insured, so it's actually a pretty good security.
Okay, hypothetical in that respect. Let's say that there is a platform and everybody can digitize themselves, okay? Can digitize their future. I'm going to be a lawyer that makes, 6 figures, and I like to digitize
But this
that.
is not the same, because here you have a contractual right. It's not the same as extrapolating upon your abilities and your awesomeness
Doesn't it lead-
and,
I know,
and
the
tokenizing
awesomeness.
yourself.
And you have
It's
an
not the
interest
same.
on
see that
Because
happening
here
on
you have a
YouTube one day?
contractual right.
With an
And
interest.
contractual
I would go
rights.
digital.
By the way,
I would digitize myself.
Mati.
Yeah, why not?
Yale,
Shoot.
if you go up 20
It
floors,
would be Mat-E.
there's a
Mati.
company I'm sure you're familiar
I'm
with
gonna
called
use that.
Bancorp, and they're doing exactly that right now. They started a website.
Guys, listen.
Yeah, right. You guys know what Bancorp's
What is
doing? 20
Bancorp
floors
doing?
up. Creator.eco, where basically
Yeah.
it's allowing
Yeah, I saw that.
creators
Actually, I saw
to tokenize
their
themselves.
CEO on stage
Doesn't
the
that
other day.
scare you?
Yeah,
ethically?
Eyal is awesome.
Yeah,
I
okay,
think- I
Eyal.
think-
No, he was cool, but he lied to me. He said
No.
it's free. So I went to the website. It's not free. I have to have BNT tokens to do it. It wasn't free. I'm sorry.
Well, I tell you, in terms of a platform,
Sorry, not sorry.
in terms of a platform for tokenizing yourself,
For
I think what
digitizing
creating
yourself.
for
As
digitizing
in yourself to make it more sellable.
I actually think that Creator.eco, what Bancorp is doing, I think is incredibly innovative. Is it going to be the biggest thing in the world tomorrow? Probably not, but I think it's moving the ball forward, and I think it's really impressive.
The only person I would invest in is Mati, but that's it. And it's only because of the bow ties that your wife picks for you.
There we go.
Folks, I want you to raise your glasses. You've been amazing in
Thank
these
you.
Libra heydays of what the heck is going on. Salute to you. We are Blockchain and Booze on BLOCKTV. And we'll be right back.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.